Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Football RPG podcast. Today we are doing Cam Scatebo, the running back out of Arizona State. Skattebo. If you say it's Skattebo, please send me a link where he says his own last name because I will say Skattebo until I die. 5'11", 216. He is 23 years old. David, what does the data say about old Cam?
So, as anyone who really follows Dynasty knows, there's two sets of data. There's what he did on the field, like just in terms of raw production, and then there's like the PFF grades. If you're looking at PFF, this man is one of the greatest athletes to ever step foot on a football field. His rushing grade, 94.6. You don't need me to tell you that's like a top percentile grade. He can run in zone, 87.3 PFF grade. He's got a great gap grade, 93.2. Elusive rating, 140.3. That's like 90th percentile, which, again, very good. And actually, no, I think I'm doing it wrong because the big numbers are the good ones, the way I'm saying it. Yards after contact per attempt, 4.09. That's pretty much up there with the elite guys in this class. It's a fantastic number. It's more than Breece Hall had when he was a prospect. So based on that stuff, based on how PFF tracks it, he's fantastic. I don't see it that way because there's quite a few more red flags here, and PFF does acknowledge that there is some things. He's not like just the top running back in this loaded class. PFF has him as their 50th on the big board rank, and I personally am lower on him. A big reason why, Mike, you mentioned it, age 23.1. That is old. Age matters a lot when you're looking at like projecting running backs into the future. It's one of the most predictive metrics they are. If you're good, you declare early. He didn't. He's a senior. He had the opportunity to go last year in a terrible class, didn't, and then had a fantastic senior year. I'll give him credit where credit's due. But, I mean, at this point, it's not much different than just like a teenager plowing over fifth graders. Like, if you're that much older, you're that much more developed, you should be beating the crap out of 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, especially at Arizona State where it is a tough schedule, but there are harder ones out there.
I personally love there's a highlight floating around of Cam running over guys at Cincinnati, and it's like, how many NFL running backs make this play? And a lot of people are like, all of them. It's Cincinnati. All right, I'm going to talk about what I saw on tape. And listen, the level of competition concerns are extremely fair. The Big 12, not known for their strong defenses, but in the college football playoff, I think we saw the bull case for what Cam can be. He's plowing over Texas defenders. He's putting the team on his back. Strong receiving upside, strong ability to keep his balance. All of the things that you want from a fantasy football running back other than breakaway speed, Cam has. My issues are the complete lack of like upside athleticism. He can run an angle route against Big 12 linebackers. Is he going to break away from, an NFL linebacker, Kaiser White, while in the open field? Absolutely not. So I think that limits his ability to be used in the receiving game as much as he was in college, but strong hands away from the catch point, ability to contort his body, weirdly good limb flexibility. I saw somebody call that out on Twitter too. Like, just for some reason, his hips can go over his head and he just continues to move on with his life. You love to see that. So if you want a bowling ball of a prospect with soft hands that can be used in the dump-off game, Cam is your guy. I worry that the college football playoff may have vaulted him too high in some people's heads. Evan, what are some landing spots that he could end up with?
Yeah, I mean, the landing spots that everybody seems to be talking about is the same for most of these running backs in these middle rounds. We got the Cowboys, we got the Steelers, we got the Bengals, and then we got the Saints. I mean, look, these are all landing spots that people want running backs to go to. If somebody like Cam Scatebo, who has the heartthrob syndrome for fantasy football players, like for whatever reason, people just absolutely love him in the community. You're probably right, Mike. Give credit where credit's due. It's probably because of the football playoffs, the college football playoffs, where he, was doing some things on the sideline that most children don't want to see, and still got back in the game and still continued to try and plow over some safeties and some corners. It was really interesting as well. David, I'm right here with you. I don't think he is nearly as good as everybody makes him out to be. But Mike, price-wise, do you have what he is on Fantasy Calc? Because just gut shot feeling, I'm saying he is middle of second right now.
Yes, on Fantasy Calc, he is currently a mid-second. He is shoved right behind the Ole Miss boys in Jackson Dart and Trey Harris. He is right in front of Devin Neal and Dylan Sampson.
Okay. Yeah. Call me crazy, but I would take both of those running backs over him. Yeah. When you're old like that, when you're big like that, when you have the contact balance, that's just what's going to occur. And just to really quick add something to David's stat dive that he had here. When you look at his runs, a lot of them went outside the tight ends when you're setting up on the line. So out wide, more stretch runs. I think that was close to a third of his runs this past season, if I'm remembering correctly, which when you get him on the outside, sure, he's going to break a lot of tackles. Sure, he's going to have a lot of yards against contact because who's he going up against? Oh, right, corners.
All right, well, no need to be mean. So with his current price as a mid-second round pick, he was the 24th prospect in the Football Guys rookie guide from Superflex ADP, not from the rankings. You guys should go check out for the rankings. How do you feel about that? Let's say he goes to one of the landing spots you mentioned, the Saints, the Bengals, where they already have a pass-catching back, and he is likely their thumper.
I mean, he's a solid pass-catching back. I mean, that's what I would rather him do, honestly. Yeah. I'd rather him be a pass-catching back than a thumper because you look at what he did in college, it wasn't as many runs between the tackles as people think for somebody that is Cam's size. And having the speed that he does, we see the speed in college. It's good for college. It's not going to be good for the NFL.
Yeah, you should not be expecting him to break away from anybody ever.
And my biggest worry with him overall is just the lack of upside. Like Evan, you mentioned, he's a good pass catcher. He's not a great one. And scouts looking at his size, they're not going to want to use him as a pass catcher, at least not originally. They're going to say, hey, charge between the middle, knock a few guys over. But he didn't really do that all too frequently in college. It's harder to do that in the NFL. And even if he can do that, you're pretty much left with a touchdown-dependent guy that doesn't really have the speed for consistent big plays. One of his big athletic comps, and this is per Mock Draftable, they have him as Damian Harris is a really close one, which Damian Harris had that one good year. I think it was 28-21 where he just kept falling into the end zone. You were happy to have him. But you really, other than that, he was fine. Like, if you need a flex play, okay. But he's not good enough to really keep a starting job forever as far as I'm concerned. And you're really reliant on him being in a good offense, getting those goal line touches that he really didn't get in college. I'm afraid you're going to be stuck with a jack of all trades, master of none, who really isn't going to bring too much to your fantasy team.
The other comp that I've seen floating around, and my working comp when I want to be excited about him, James Conner. We've had the same concerns that there's no upside here, there's no upside here, there's no upside here. And then he goes to an offense that funnels him a bunch of catches anyway, while still bringing a ton on the ground, owning the starting job for multiple years. Everybody is doubting him, but he just continues to overcome and overcome and overcome. And if he ends up Damian Harris, I'll just draft him for his 2021 season, and it'll be okay. The 15 touchdown season, because I'll be able to predict that, of course.
Yeah, touchdowns are a very predictable metric.
As we all know. Well, it sounds like we already had our argument for and against. Best case scenario, we're talking about a James Conner level prospect. Worst case, Damian Harris, just a fancy goal line back, and we hope he gets a little bit of receiving work. Anybody else have something on Cam?
One last thing I'd like to say, Evan, you mentioned your team fits, and I agree with most of them, but one I want to really point out is the Chicago Bears. Ben Johnson's built a great offensive line. We know he doesn't like DeAndre Swift. Maybe they go after Genti in the first round, but if they don't select a running back by the third round, I think he could be great in that David Montgomery role that's going to exist in Chicago now that he's not in Detroit. And Mike just messaged our little chat here. The other comp is David Montgomery. So
Yep.
Yeah, we're on the same lines there. Ben Johnson, I think, is an offensive wizard. Normally, I don't like buying the rise on players after they're drafted because, film talks, talent matters. Fit is a little overrated in my opinion, but in this one, I'd be willing to draft him a little bit earlier than I otherwise would.
Get Cam to the Bears, save the day. If you made it this far, head over to W. You'll stay awake all night, or you'll go to bed if you need to. Use code FFRPG at checkout. It's a jitterless energy drink. We love it. You should love it. And David, I love you. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Football RPG Podcast. If you made it this far, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to check out written content, head over to lastwordonsports.com.
Don't let the goblins get you.